Hello, welcome to 77's Garden, where we talk about gardening, ways to save money, and other special events. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notified of all upcoming videos.
Hey there, green thumb and future plant parents. Are you ready to turn those tiny seeds into thriving plants? Whether you are dreaming of a juicy tomato or beautiful vibrant flower or tasty herbs, I'm here to show you how you can start your seeds and get them going and get good quality products in your garden in no time without spending a lot of money. So let's go. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First, let's gather our supplies. Here's a checklist of the things that you're gonna need for starting your seeds. The most important thing will be the seeds. So you can grab your seeds. If you don't have seeds, you can buy seeds, but most of my seeds, I saved my seeds from the previous year. So you can see I usually save them and I date them when the seeds were harvested and saved. So I have my seeds here, so you can get your seeds, packet seeds, either from the store or online. I'll see if I can put a link to some of the other places where I get some of my seeds in the either description or in the bio. But once you have your seeds, the next thing you're gonna need is you're gonna need containers. Container can be a seed starting tray like this. This is a seed starting tray that comes with everything that you need. The light on it. It comes with a little storage unit on the bottom that gives you the ability to at least hold a little bit of water, and it also has a dome that you can go on top, so you can see like that. And then it has a dome like this that provides a greenhouse effect, and it also has this one also has lights on top, so you can do something like this, but you don't have to, right? You don't have to do this. You can also do it with regular items that you have at home. For example, you can use a juice box like this. All you need, a juice box or whatever container you use, you want to make sure that it has a good depth, and you also want to make sure that it has holes at the bottom so that you're able to grow your seeds in a container like this. So you need a container. You can also use a container like this tray, regular aluminum tray, or you can use a bucket like this. You can use a bucket like this to grow your seeds, whatever container you have. Or you can use a big container like this. So if you have a lot of seeds and you want to grow, and you can use a flat container or a spacious container like this, and you're able to start your seeds in a container like this. You can also use the trays that you get from the store. You can see this trays that you get when you buy plants. You get trays like this. You can still use them to start your seeds like that. So you can use any container, any tray, as long as it's gonna provide the necessary things. You can also use egg cartons or styrofoam container like these to plant your seeds and be able to have that going, and in no time. And this styrofoam is going to provide some insulation from cold temperatures. You can use perlite like these, and peat like this, or vermiculite to be able to make your own seed starting mix. I have a video that shows you how you can make your own seed starting mix. I'll see if I can put the link to it in the description, or check out my YouTube channel 77's Garden, where we have a lot of these videos. So label your seeds that you're planting. Trust me, you forget it. If you don't label it, you forget it. So label, make sure you get labels and label your seeds. You can buy labels, or you can make labels out of milk jugs. So label your seeds. The next thing that you need is a watering can or spray bottle. You can get a spray bottle like this. If you don't have a spray bottle like this, you don't want to buy a spray bottle and you use watering. If you have a little water bottle like this, all you need to do is make some holes at the top like that, then you use it to water like that. See the water coming out? You can use that. But if you're gonna be gardening and you're gonna be doing this for a long time, it's better to just get a watering can, and a good watering can. So I have a watering can like right here. You can use a good watering can like this, and that would make sure that you have enough capacity, and it's going to be able to help you to water your plants regularly. An optional thing that you can also get is a heat mat to put underneath seedlings like peppers and stuff like that. But if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But seeds like peppers that need the hot temperature and other seeds, they'll do much better if you have a heat mat. But if you don't have a heat mat, as long as they're in a warm area, I'm not using a heat mat in the greenhouse over here right now because it's hot in here. It's warm throughout the day, so I don't need a heat mat. But if you're growing inside, you need a heat mat, especially if you're growing in the basement. You need a heat mat to be able to provide that heat on the seeds and the seedlings for the seeds to germinate. So grow lights. So if you don't have a cover like this that has some lights on them, you can get a grow light, get a good grow light that will be able to provide enough sunlight, especially if you're growing inside. That will provide enough sunlight for your seedlings. Once they start germinating like this, they need that sunlight, and you want to make sure that the grow light provides them. You can put a timer, but you want to make sure that it provides them at least 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours of light on the seedlings in order for them to do well. So what you want to do is fill up your seed starting tray with your seed starting mix. If this seed starting mix is dry, you want to moisten it up a little bit. You don't want it to be too damp. You just want it to be just nice and wet. Just dampen it a little bit, and then we can plant our seeds. You can see when it's too dry, you can see the water just skipping around like that. If you just mix it up a little bit, you don't want this the mix to be very, very dry. You want it to be nice and moist like this over here. So this one just gonna need to add a little bit of water on this right here. You want it to be a little bit damp so that the seeds will stay moist. Another important tip is you can soak your seeds. Depending on the seeds, soaking the seeds help the seeds absorb the water and absorb the moisture, and it helps it germinate a lot faster. So I usually soak, depending on the seed that you have, but you can soak it for like 12 to 24 hours, and then once it's after 12 to 24 hours, then you can just plant the seeds, and it's much reduces the period of time for it to germinate. So soaking the seeds like this, all you need is get a container, whatever container you use lukewarm water, add a couple of drops of hydrogen peroxide inside, and then soak the seed for 12 to 24 hours. And then now we can just take out the seed, and then we can plant the seeds. So what we're gonna do is just take out the seeds. These are very tiny seeds, so they've been in this for more than 20 hours. So we're just gonna sprinkle it, right? You just want to sprinkle it in the like that to spread it around as much as possible in the tray. So after spreading the seeds, on the on top of the potting mix, what I usually do is just get a handful of seed starting mix, light, just a little. You just want to lightly coat it, just so that it covers the seeds just a tiny little bit. It provides a little bit more moisture on the seeds, so that they absorb water and germinate a lot faster. So just a tiny coat of your seed starting mix on top, not too much. You can still see some of the seeds, but you just want to put a tiny coat of the seed starting mix on top, just to coat the seeds, and that helps it speed up the germination, because the seeds are covered, and that helps them absorb some of the moisture, and they're able to germinate a lot faster. Now we're done with our seeds. What we usually do is just mist. I can just mist a little bit or water it, and then you're good to go. So now I just mist it, use my spray bottle, and just mist the top of the seeds. That way it doesn't, if you use a big spray container like this, it might move the seeds around. But just using this, something like this, that just soak the top. Since we already soaked the bottom before we planted our seeds, we just need to mist the top like this, and we're good to go. So the next thing I usually like to do is provide a cozy environment for the seedlings, a humidity type of environment for the seedlings to thrive and germinate, the seeds to germinate and the seedlings to thrive. So you can use, if you have a plastic container, if you have a plastic container like this that covers the whole thing, that's fine. But if you don't have a plastic container that covers something like this, you can use a plastic, just a plastic wrap like this. Just use a plastic wrap. Use a plastic wrap to just cover the whole thing. Use the plastic wrap, cover the whole thing like that. And it just provides a little bit of greenhouse effect in there and maintain the humidity and the moisture in there, and the seeds are just gonna do much better if you cover it like that. So you don't need a bag like this, or you can still do it without a bag, but this is just improves it and makes it much better for it to germinate a lot faster. So let there be light. So once the seedlings start germinating, if you're not using a transparent plastic like this, if you're using a dark or non-transparent plastic, you want to take the transparent plastic off. Once it starts germinating, you take the transparent plastic off and you put in a transparent plastic like this, or you just leave it open so that the seedlings can get some light. You want to make sure that they get sunlight once they start germinating. If they don't get sunlight, they're gonna be leggy and they're not gonna do as well. So make sure that they're able to get some sunlight once they start germinating. Put the tray in a location where it gets a lot of sunlight. If you don't have a good window spot or a good location where it gets a lot of sunlight, put a grow light on it. Make sure it has a grow light that covers the whole tray. That will be able to provide enough sunlight for the seedlings to germinate once they start germinating. Once they start germinating, then you can move to the next step. Once the seeds are enough for you to be able to transplant them, then you can move to the next step of transplanting them. So this is seedlings over here. You can see the seedlings that I have. I have a lot of seedlings over here on this one. They're doing great. Some of them, they are ready to be transplanted. You can still let it go for another maybe 1 week, still be able to transplant it. But you can see once they're together like this, they can at least they're getting enough sunlight, they can continue growing. Then you can transplant them to either the other containers or into the garden. So make sure that they get good sunlight, and make sure you when they are like this, you want to make sure you water it maybe once or twice. Once a day should be fine. If it's extremely hot where it is, then you can do it twice a day, but once a day or once every 2 or 3 days should be fine, depending on the container, depending on the size of the seeds that you have in there. But just make sure that the soil is not completely dry, and they will do well. So let me show you. We have some other I'm growing in regular buckets. So you can grow, like I said, you can grow in any containers. You can grow in buckets like this. I have buckets like this right here. I'm still growing in buckets like this. You still be able to start your seeds in and be able to do well in buckets, and be able to get your seedlings in buckets. It's much cheaper if you're growing from seeds like this than buying seedlings at a store. So you can see I'm using the trays right here to be able to start my seedlings, and then I'm gonna be able to transplant them into the greenhouse and into the garden. So it's advisable to transplant them once they have had at least 2 or 3 true leaves. Those are the second set of leaves. That's the best time to transplant them. It means they're stable and they're already growing, and they'll be good to be transplanted into either containers or into the garden. A pro seedling tip is water from the bottom. So if you have a container like this, or if you have whatever tray you have, watering from the bottom is much better, because it let this starting mix soak in the amount of water that they need, so that it's not too damp and not too over. So if you have a tray like this, you have just put water at the bottom and let it absorb as much water as it needs, as opposed to watering it on top and keeping the leaves too moist, and it might lead to other diseases. So try as much as possible to water from the bottom, especially when the seeds are still the seedlings are still very young. If you're growing indoors where there's not a lot of wind moving around, you want to put a fan. You want to put a fan close to the seedlings to provide some blowing. A fan close to them would help the stems be stronger and more sturdier and do well, because they're gonna be fighting with the wind to be able to survive. So put a fan on your seedlings, so that way they are able to withstand the wind and be able to do much better. Another pro tip is to keep a journal, keep a gardening journal that keeps track of the dates, planting dates, and the various plants that you've planted, and the progress of the various plants that you have, so that way you know exactly what's going on at every point in time. So if you don't have a journal, check out, I'll put a link to a journal that you can use, that you're able to keep track of your plants, and also provides you with other gardening tips. And that is it. You are officially a seed starting superstar. Drop a comment below with what you are growing. I would love to cheer you on. Smash that subscribe or follow button for more gardening wins, and hit the bell so that you don't miss next video on transplanting seedlings like a pro. Thanks for watching. Keep growing. Happy growing, everybody.